that every year 38,000 people die from complications of sleep apnea. Experts think about 18 million people suffer from it. It's more common in men, but women have sleep apnea too.
Definitely. In fact, today we're joined by one woman who says a CPAP machine changed her life and maybe even saved it. Linda Grams is the patient, and Steve Gardner is back from the Sleep Wellness Institute. Welcome to you both. Nice to have you on this show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, when we think of snoring, sleep apnea, problems like that, we think of guys, you know, but it's very common in women too, isn't it?
Yes. More so than I thought.
How serious is it, or was it, rather, for you?
I was exhausted 24/7. There were times when I would have to call my husband, and I know I shouldn't be talking while I drive, but I would have to have him talk to me because I was so sleepy while I was driving that I said, can you just talk to me till I get to work?
Wow.
I would look at my work schedule and plan my week around naps.
Really?
Yes. When am I going to nap? Oh my gosh, I can't nap till Thursday. Oh my goodness, you know, what am I going to do because how am I going to get my rest? I had 2 jobs, and I would go home in between the 2 hours, sleep for an hour, thinking that this nap would make me feel better, but it never really did, because with sleep apnea, your body is working so hard when you're trying to sleep that you don't really get the rest that you're supposed to.
So at what point did you decide that you really needed to get help? Because this sounds like it controlled your life. Like you said, you planned your days around it.
When I switched primary care doctors, we were discussing my health issues, and he, when we talked about the fibromyalgia, is when he said, I think we need to have a sleep study. So I had the sleep study done, and it showed that I did have sleep apnea.
And that's where you go overnight, right?
Yes.
Did you find out how serious it was according to that study?
Yes. The first one revealed that I had 20 pauses in my breathing during the night. 10 were very significant.
Okay.
So I went back for a second sleepover where they actually put the CPAP machine on to set the pressure. And then December 6th of 2006 is when I got my machine.
How has the machine changed your life? The CPAP machine, which we'll explain a little bit more in just a second. But you were telling me right before the show you even nap with it on.
I do. I don't lay down without it. When I would watch my grandson before I broke my foot, I would take it over there, and when he took a nap and I would take a nap on the sofa, I use it all the time. I do not sleep without it at any time.
Because you get so much better rest too, right?
Well, not only that, you can't risk stopping breathing and that being the last breath that you take.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and let's just take a moment too to have you, Steve, who you're the president of the Sleep Wellness Institute, just kind of explain. Now that's what you said. You're stopping breathing throughout the night. So explain to us exactly what sleep apnea is again, and what she was really going through.
Sleep apnea is a fairly common sleep disorder, as you indicated earlier, that about 18 million Americans have it. The bad thing is that of those 18 million, only about 2 million actually know they have it. So you have 16 million people out there who have this disorder that can potentially be fatal. What happens is that the tissues and muscles in your throat relax as you go to sleep. In sleep apnea, they relax to the point that they block off your airway. That causes you to snore, and then eventually it can cause you to stop breathing altogether. Your brain then, after hopefully a very short period of time, will awaken you with a quick burst. You'll gasp, get your air, and go right back to sleep. This happens so quickly that most people aren't even aware that it's happened.
Wow.
But it can be happening anywhere from 20 times an hour to 50 to 100 to 150 times an hour every hour, every night.
50 times an hour.
It's staggering.
Because there are only 60 minutes in an hour, so that's more than every minute that you stop breathing.
So think of how poor the quality of your sleep is. And think of at the same time that when you've gone to sleep, your heart rate is slowed, everything has slowed down, and then suddenly you're jerked awake and it soars. And and then you go right back to sleep.
It takes a toll on your heart, night after night after night.
Right. Yes, it does.
So the CPAP machine, because you talked about pressurizing it, the CPAP machine actually, in layman's terms, kind of forces air down your throat. It's gentle, but it allows for that air to go down your throat and not be blocked, like you mentioned.
Sure.
And you
I
don't
know we've seen
feel
this.
it.
You don't feel it.
You don't feel it. And
It's
the
not
machine
disturbing to sleep.
No,
And
the
that's how
machine
small it
is
is.
quiet.
Yeah, this is one of more than 30 different styles of CPAP masks. This happens to be mine.
So there,
And-
hold it right there. Yep, we're getting a good shot of that. You can see it right there.
And that is, something that simply I wear. And it gives me a gentle, constant flow of air that keeps my airway open.
And it's not difficult to sleep wearing that?
No, it takes some adjusting. I took a couple of nights. Linda took longer. There are some people who have considerable problems adjusting, but as long as we can continue working with them and getting different styles of masks or adjusting their pressure settings, they eventually become accustomed to
I
it.
mean, it's not, to be honest, it's not super sexy, probably, to be wearing
It might reduce some intimacy.
to be wearing a mask like that at night. But all kidding aside, if you're getting more sleep, it's potentially saving your life, and you're feeling restful. You could maybe go to bed for a little bit without the mask on, have some intimacy, and put it back on. But I mean, those are the kinds of things that people have trouble with masks. How does it look? How does it affect intimacy? And I know those are things that you help people work through.
Yeah, and we find a lot of men, especially, who say, I don't want to wear that mask. I don't want my wife to look at me with that thing on. And the fact of the matter is, their wives are sitting there saying, wear the mask. I'd rather have you be alive.
Well, I don't want my husband to see me with mine either, but what choice do I have?
Right.
I have a family,
He'd rather
I have a
you
grandbaby,
functioning through the day.
and I have another grandchild due in about 5 weeks, and I guess you have to think about the people around you and what you mean to them and what they mean to you, and you have to make that decision that you have to use the machine.
Absolutely.
You don't have a choice.
Absolutely.
If you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, you have to use the machine.
Yeah.
So give us a yes or no. Do you still plan your life around naps?
No.
Good
Thank
for
God.
you.
And I can stay up until 10 o'clock or 11 at night. I used to be in bed at 7:30.
What a blessing. And congratulations to you on that next grandbaby
Thank
you're
you.
expecting.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. And I mean, if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, you have to use the machine. You don't have a choice.
Absolutely.
And
It's a strong message.
if people are listening to what you're saying, you think that someone may have sleep apnea, go to the Sleep Wellness Institute. They are on 102nd Street in West Allis. You can call the number on your screen or go to the website to get a lot more information at sleepwellandlive.com. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on the show.